Oh, is it coming up? Is it coming up? Let's have a look. So this is live technology. Oh, is this what is it like the worst? Let's have a look. So
I am reliably informed that it's just turned black. It's changed.
Okay.
It's just a black screen.
Oh, so why don't you? I was going to say this is. Okay, we'll just crack on with it. Okay. So we'll try and get that working if we can as soon as we can. So here are the 5 rounds. Tom, do you want to go through what the rounds are?
Yep. Okay, so we've got 5 rounds. In the first round, we have got a multiple choice round, a miscellaneous round of questions about places in Newham. The second round is a picture round. We will show you pictures of famous landmarks in Newham, and you'll have to tell us where it is and when it was created. And then our third round will be charades, although with a little bit of a twist, because it's what I like to call Bobby's version of charades. He isn't quite good enough to act out the scenes without words, so we'll be using other clues to help you out, to save us from our woeful acting. The fourth round is going to be a music one, and then the fifth one we will have a special extra time where you have 30 seconds to list something in particular, and we'll tell you all about that in a while.
Give them a clue what it might be.
So something to do with railway stations, but I don't want to say too much because then they might start thinking now. But it's 30 seconds.
Okay.
How are we doing for the YouTube, Bob?
I think we're gonna have to. I don't think it's working. I can't see the YouTube, unfortunately. Okay, so we are on Facebook, but unfortunately no YouTube. Okay, so let's start off with round number 1. So these are going to be multiple choice questions. So I'm trying to sort out some technical things. So Tom, what's the first question?
Okay, so question number 1. When was the London Borough of Newham created? Is it A, 1935, B, 1965, or C, 1995? So that was when was the London Borough of Newham created? Is it A, 1935, B, 1965, or C, 1995? Okay, so Lisa tells us on YouTube that they'll be able to find a new stream below.
Okay.
So hopefully they will find their way.
Yeah. Okay, so that's question number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 2 is coming up. So the disused old ski slope. So there's actually a disused old ski slope in Newham. It used to be nicknamed the Beckton What. So the disused old ski slope in Newham used to be named the Beckton What? Is it the Beckton Alps, the Beckton Andes, or the Beckton Himalayas? So is it the Beckton Alps, the Beckton Andes, or the Beckton Himalayas? That's question number 2.
Okay, question number 3. West Ham's old ground Upton Park was named after which of Henry VIII's wives? Is it A, Jane Seymour, B, Catherine Howard, or C, Anne Boleyn? West Ham's old ground Upton Park was named after which one of Henry VIII's wives? Is it Jane Seymour, B, Catherine Howard, or C, Anne Boleyn?
It's question number 3. If you're a West Ham fan, this should be bread and butter stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not, this might be a bit trickier. Okay, question number 4. What decade was London City Airport opened? A, the 1970s, B, the 1980s, or C, the 1990s? So what decade was London City Airport opened? A, the 1970s, B, the 1980s, or C, the 1990s? It's question number 4.
Interestingly, despite having lived in Newham my whole life, I only used London City Airport for the first time last year. So I went 25 years
Yeah.
without actually using the airport on our.
That's
on our
really okay.
doorstep.
I
Yeah.
use it all the time for
Do
traveling.
you?
Yeah.
I get the sense that it's more for business use because presumably prices are a little bit higher
A
because
little
of
bit steeper than
the runway.
Yeah.
The price to use the runway will be a lot higher too.
And most people are on, suited and booted. It's not really a family holiday, although people can do. And if you live in Newham, like we could jog there.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, city airport, we like it.
Yeah.
Okay. 5th question and the final one of this round.
Okay. Question number 5. East Ham Town Hall was built under which monarch? Is it A, Victoria, B, Edward VII, or C, George V? East Ham Town Hall was built under which monarch? Is it A, Victoria, B, Edward VII, or C, George V?
I'm just saying for people on YouTube and Facebook, don't type in the answers there. So it's like a quiz where you write the answers yourselves, and then we'll go through the answers at the end of each round, and you self-mark. So it requires a bit of honesty, and then let us know how you're doing. So it requires a bit of honesty. Yeah. So try not to. I'm going to try and delete answers from people. So don't type in the answers. Don't type in the answers. Okay, so we'll go back through the questions.
I just got to say, so with this question number 5. As a kid, I used to always get confused between East Ham Town Hall and Big Ben.
Okay.
I mean, when I was like 5 or 6. And
you can see why.
Yeah.
Tall, imposing structure. The heart of power in London resides here.
Exactly.
So Sarah Khan is asking, are there points for not knowing but being funny?
Absolutely.
I was going to say no, but he's generous.
We're going to work in a democracy here. So if we've got one vote each, and then Sarah can cast the deciding one.
Yeah. So I'm saying no. It's not about being funny. You've got to be right. He's saying you can be funny.
If you're funny enough, then...
Okay, so let's quickly go back through the questions. So 5 was... what was 5, Tom?
Edward VII. It was built when Edward VII was in power.
So question 5, we're going to go backwards, reverse order. So question 5 was, Edward VII. Question 4, if I can go backwards, it was opened in the 1980s. In the 1980s. Question 3.
Question 3 was Anne Boleyn. Of course, the Boleyn ground, if you've ever followed West Ham Football Club.
Question 2 is, it's the Alps, the Beckton Alps. Beckton Alps, there you go. And the final one?
And the final one, Newham was created in 1965.
Okay, so give us your marks out of 5. Give us your marks out of 5. Let us know how you're doing. So again, on Twitter, I think our YouTube stream is now working. Hello, Anita. So let me just say hello to people on Facebook. Hello, Anna. Hello, Rosie. Hello, Bo Chapman. Hello, Zoe. Hello, Sam. Lots of people joining there. And let's see if anyone on Twitter. So again, if you're enjoying the quiz, do tweet along at Bobby_Seagull or at Newham Heritage. And tag in at Newham London as well, because we're all part of Newham here. So while we're waiting for scores to come through, so Tanya is asking, will we put it on afterwards? Yeah, so the quiz will be available fully on YouTube as a functioning link afterwards. So don't worry, if you're missing out for whatever reason, it'll be pasted up on YouTube later on. So before we start round 2, we're going to talk a bit about our heritage. So our parents came from the state of where, Tom?
Of Kerala, which is the very southern state of India.
And they moved here late 70s, so the earliest of our siblings was born in 80. So presumably before then.
Yeah.
That would make logical sense. Late 70s, and we've been pretty much here in Newham ever since.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that a lot of our community moved over at the same time. So we've got cousins who live... Where do they live? Like pretty much.
Well, so we've got three families that all live within 2-minute walking distance of each other. So growing up, we've all, every day after school, we were able to see all of our cousins. So it's a very tight knit family. We move as a unit.
Yeah. There we go. So that's our family background. So let's see what scores we've got after round 1. I'm going to try and see what scores we have. So Tom, just tell me what scores we got on YouTube.
Okay, so we've got the Puzzle Ducks on 3 out of 5.
Who else do we have?
Who else have we got? We've got Sophie on 4 out of 5. Bissy on 3 out of 5.
And let me check on. Let's check on Twitter. Newham Libraries are loving the quiz. Thank you, Deborah. Let's have a look at Facebook. You're not telling me your scores. Facebook's very shy. Okay, Facebook scores are come through now.
Yep, so we've got Bo Chapman on 4, Anita and Ken on 4 and Anita on 3.
What other scores do we have?
Is there anyone on a full set at the moment?
Okay,
anyone on 5 out of 5?
Okay, my Facebook is currently stalled.
Oh, Cole Hole on 5.
Well done.
Well done, Bill.
And I got an old student, Merlin, apparently from, I think I remember Merlin from East London Science School. Who else do we have? Ken, Bo, Zoe got 4, but Zoe's other half got 5. Well done. Okay, so it's time for round number 2. Round number 2. How good are you at pictures here? How good are you? So there's going to be 10 points available, and each one there's 2 points per question. So it's definitely up for grabs here. Definitely up for grabs here. Okay.
Okay, question number 1. Identify this sculpture and the artist who made it. So identify the sculpture and the artist who made it.
So that is question number 1. Question number 1. I hope you, if you're from Newham, you better recognize it. If you're not from Newham, I might forgive you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Dean Armand, for joining from Heritage FM. He interviewed me just like an hour back. So thank you for joining. Newham Heritage Month saying they got 5, obviously. We'd expect you to be getting 5. Thank you. Okay, question number 2. Identify this infrastructure and the decade it opened. So identify this infrastructure, I think that way, and the decade it opened. So that's question number 2. I could have zoomed in into this to make it much more difficult, but yeah. Still requires a bit of thought.
Okay, question number 3. So I want you to identify the name of this US pop star and the year that this song came out in. So the song is called Unconditionally, and this US mega pop star came to Newham and recorded her music video in Stratford Town Hall. So if you look closely, that's the chandelier in Stratford Town Hall. So if you've ever been there, I'm sure you'd recognize it. And it made its way onto, this absolutely, at the time when the song came out, she was, an A-lister.
She's not B+, probably.
B++.
B++, still big.
So yeah, identify the name of this US pop star and the year the song Unconditionally came out.
There you go. That's question number 3. See, this is clever. We're testing your Newham knowledge in unexpected ways. Okay, question number 4. So this is worth half a point each. Identify any 2 footballers in this sculpture. So this is a sculpture near the corner of the road outside the old Upton Park. So identify 2 footballers in this sculpture. Any 2 of them. We've got the final question coming up. And the 5th one here.
Okay, question number 5. Who was the chief engineer behind Abbey Mills, and what decade in the 1800s was it built? And in this question, we will give you 1 decade leeway either way.
That's clearly Tom's rules. He's generous.
I'm a generous man.
And if anyone watched my Monkman and Seagull series, you would know this answer. Okay, we'll start from the top and we'll go through all the answers. Start from the top. Are you ready? Okay, so again, once the round is done, share with us your scores, again on Facebook or YouTube, and again Twitter or Instagram. We'd love if you can tweet out yourself or tag a story of yourself enjoying it at Bobby_Seagull, at Newham Heritage, and the hashtag is #Newham Heritage Month, because again this month is an amazing chance for us to celebrate all that's great and wonderful about our Beautiful borough. Okay, so Tom, let's go through the answers.
Okay. So question, are we working our way backwards?
No, we're going to go through it in sequential order.
Okay. So question number one. The sculpture is the Orbit, and it was designed by artist Anish Kapoor.
So your spelling doesn't have to be great, but
Yeah.
Kapoor.
As long as you've got it phonetically right. So it was built for the London 2012 Olympics. And I think when it was initially built, it had mixed reception, didn't it?
It did.
But I think over time it's grown on.
People like it.
Yeah. And they've actually built a massive. Oh, you've got it in the picture.
That's what it is.
A massive slide going down.
Have you been on it yet?
I have not.
Neither have I. I had a chance. I would
Yeah.
like to. Has anyone been on it? Let us know if you've been on. Rosie Murdoch saying these questions are harder than I thought. Come on, it's Mr. Seagull, a University Challenge legend.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that easy. Okay, question number 2. So this structure here is very important. Without it, London would often flood. So this is in part of the southern part of Newham. It's the Thames Barrier. Thames Barrier, and it was opened in the 1980s. And we want the exact decade. So the Thames Barrier, 1 mark, and the 1980s, 2nd mark. Okay, question number 3.
Okay. So question number 3, the answer was Katy Perry. She is the artist, and the year the song came out is 2013. But they get plus or minus 2?
2 years, yeah.
2 years either way. So if you got between 2011 to 2015, you can give yourself the mark. I find it so interesting that, of all the places to go, she's come to Newham.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a beautiful town hall, but, how does she even
We're not sure.
hear
The
about it?
speculation at the time, was she married to?
She's married to Russell Brand at the time, and I don't know, Russell Brand is a West Ham fan.
Possibly, yeah.
Stratford is near West Ham.
Yeah.
Tenuous link, but, that's the only explanation I can think of.
So Katy
Perhaps
Pe-
she was, staying in the UK for a while at the time because of Russell.
Yeah, that would make sense. But again, there you go. So next time you go to Stratford Town Hall, have a look. Katy Perry, mega pop star, a B+++.
Yeah.
B+++. Olivia Lawn saying that she's been on the Orbit and bought an orbit-shaped paperclip. That's a bit of an orbit-shaped.
wow,
That's very cool. I'd like to get one too. Okay, question 4. So there's a famous World Cup statue outside the old Upton Park, and any of the 4. So you can get Bobby Moore, Wilson, Hurst, or Peters. So each worth. So you get maximum of 1 point for this. It's worth half a mark. So you get 2 of Moore, Wilson, Hurst, or Peters. There we go. So Moore, Wilson, Hurst, or Peters. And the last one.
So the answer to question 5 is Joseph Basil Gett, and the decade is the 1860s. But again, you get plus or minus 1 either way. So if you said the 1850s or the 1870s, you can give yourself the mark.
Well, I think the name is pronounced. I think I would have called it Basil Gett, but I think Basil Jet,
Is
like
it
a
Basil
jet plane,
Jet?
like a jet plane.
Okay.
And interestingly, I think so. This is Joseph Basil Jet, the great grandson. Played a part in setting up Big Brother. He's like a big TV executive.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there are some jokes. Joseph Basil Jet, the Basil Jets are amazing, but the great 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 grandfather was involved with dealing with sewage and refuse, and we won't make any bad jokes about that. There we go. So they're the answers to round number 2. Let us know what scores you have. Let us know. So again, we'd love you to tag us in your tweets, in your stories on Instagram, at Newham Heritage, at Bobby_Seagull, at Tommy Seagull as well, at hashtag Newham Heritage Month. So we're going to talk a bit about, before our third round, about our education, because we all went to the same primary and secondary school. So we went to...
So you started off at St. Michael's Primary School in East Ham.
Yeah.
And then we all went to St. Bonaventures in Forest Gate.
Yeah. And when people meet us, they're like, oh, you guys are really smart family, you're knowledgeable. Or they'll say you're really clever. And I don't think there's anything special about our brains. It might be, but there really isn't. It's because all of us went to East Ham Library. So every Saturday afternoon after lunch, our dad would take us with a shopping trolley.
Yeah, we'd always take a shopping trolley every weekend. We.
Do you remember what colour it was? The original one. The original.
I don't know. I think I was too young for the original.
The original. We used to have a grey one. Looked old,
Vaguely.
probably 70s style. Now we've got like a more fancy one.
Okay, but so we would take an empty trolley to the library, and then when we came back, it was completely filled to the rafters with books.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at one point the top of the trolley actually broke because we would overfill the trolley with books that we had to sort of get like a string to tie it together.
Absolutely. And we just sit there in the library for hours, for a couple of hours, East Ham Library, sprawled on the floor, reading books on like Aztec civilization, Victorian engineering, Roald Dahl. And again, there wasn't like a learning objective. We just read what we wanted to read.
Yeah.
I think ultimately our knowledge has come from East Ham Library. So thank you to Newham Library for having East Ham Library, Plaistow Library, Stratford Library. We're massively in your debt.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting answers coming through, or scores. Let's have a look. So Tom, why don't you tell me on YouTube and Facebook? You might need to scroll down a bit. I'll check Twitter.
Okay, so we've got Bissy on 10 out of 15. We have got... What else have we got? We've got Bo Chapman on 7, doing really well. I think these are these scores from the last round?
Yeah, so tell us your overall scores. So let me have a check. So Bo Chapman, I think you're on 7. Let's have a look. Yeah, so if you're telling me your scores in this round, so Rosie says you got 2 out of 5 for this round. So what you can do is this round here was worth double points. So Rosie getting 2 out of 5, give yourself 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. What else do we have? Anita, Ken, they give me 3 out of 5. Presumably you mean 6 out of 10. So these marks you get up to 10 marks. They're not half marks. The only one that was worth, how is it? Have I done it correctly? I think I've got my own scoring incorrect. You know when I said half marks for the footballers? Actually, that would work, wouldn't it? Half mark for each of the footballers. Yeah. Okay. We'll move on. We'll move on. We got 9 from Sophie, 10 from Olivia, and then we've got a comment coming through from. This shows you that it's live. It's live. John is saying England squad won it, but West Ham won the World Cup. If you look at the World Cup trophy, it doesn't say England. It says West Ham. John Haggerty. John, I want you to disprove it. It says West Ham won the World Cup in '66. Okay, so you should have a score out of 15. So in the last round, if you got a score out of 5, double your score. So 11 out of 15, good. So double your score from the last round. So you should have a score out of 15. Up to 5 in the first round and up to 10. And we also have Tanya on Twitter saying she got 11 so far. So it looks like 11's in the lead. Well done, Tanya. And 10 and 9 gets you in the middle. And a few people down at 5 or 6. Okay. So we're going to go on to our third round, which is a bit of hysterics. So I'm not an actor, I'm a school teacher, but in Monkman and Seagull's Genius Guide to Britain and Genius Adventures, I've had 2 series out. It's actually currently on iPlayer. Have I got time to show them a quick... Yeah, I've got time. I want to show you guys. So there's interesting. So it's a very gentle program. How do you describe it, Tom, the program?
I mean, I guess it's sort of... it's what the BBC sets out to do. It's informative, but it also combines it very nicely with being entertaining. Yeah. So you're sort of learning, but you don't even realize you're learning because it's sort of like you're going on a journey with you two. And then so there's a North. So actually now I showed this. I did a class this morning and I showed them our North American trailers out, and our North American trailer has a very different feel. I'll have a watch this. So the British trailer is like very gentle and calm, but let's have a look at the North American one if I can get it up here. Have a look.
I think this calls for a selfie, yeah?
It's definitely not the vibe.
Here we are.
Yes.
Here begins the great journey of Monkman and Seagull.
So you can see the Americans. Oh, it's telling me that my power is low. Hold on 1 second. Tom, explain how the charades round would work. If my battery goes, then it will be a bit of a problem.
Okay, so this next round is called charades, but I mean it's not really charades because it's Bobby's version of charades, which means there are no rules. We sort of act, but we sort of give you lots of verbal cues. and that's to make up for our own acting inadequacies. So before we do that, Bob is just plugging in the charger because all hell is about to break loose if he doesn't...
Hold on. It says my laptop has low battery, and this has never happened before. Unless there's a power cut. I'm genuinely hoping that this works. Hold on. Is it plugged? Okay, honestly, that's never happened before. It said one of my plug points suddenly died. And that would have been a new, unique... That could be a quiz question in future. The great Bobby and Tommy Seagull Newham Heritage Month quiz crashed because of what reason? A, was it they fell asleep? B, the dad called them down for dinner? Or C, their power went out? Next year's quiz. Nearly happened. But thank you to this power cable. It's here. It worked for us.
Okay, we're back on track.
And our cousin's joined in. Welcome, Derek. He's got 0 out of 15. Because he's my cousin, I'll give him 5 points as a starter. He just joined.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this particular round, I explained the rules. Tom did explain the rules, didn't he?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. John Haggerty says it's definitely live. It's definitely live. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Apart from your answers. You're going to get a lot of things right. One thing. Rosie says she loves Monkman and Seagull. Thank you. Hopefully we'll have season 3 coming out very soon. Okay. So, the charades. So each will be... someone's asking about our surname Seagull. We'll explain that later on as well. So, Q&A, why Seagull?
You've opened up a can of worms with that question, Rosie, because, yeah.
Yeah,
we'll go on that.
We'll come to that later. We've got a couple of other stories to say. We'll answer you. Very soon.
Good question.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up the full screen so you can see us. So there's going to be 5 questions. Each is worth 1 mark. So these are people that either were born in Newham or lived in Newham for a period of time or have a strong Newham connection. So there's a Newham connection. And again, it's fake charades. We are going to speak just to give you a bit of a clue. Okay, are you ready? So question number 1. So we know what we're doing, yeah?
Yep, we do.
So question number 1.
Welcome to the 2008 Beijing Olympics. You are watching the ladies 400 meter final. On your marks, get set, go.
Yeah! I won gold last year in 2007 and I won gold again in the 2008 Olympics. Woo!
I'm almost embarrassed to call that charades, but there you go. If you... When you have 2 non-actors doing charades, that's what happens.
So that's question number 1. Identify this athlete born in Newham.
Yes.
Not this one. Not Bobby Seagull. The athlete that we're acting out. Okay. Spelling doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, question number 2. So you have an injury.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, question number 2. So bear in mind.
Doctor, my knee. I think I need...
Oh, okay, I think you might need your leg amputated, but you're lucky. I've got some carbolic acid here, and this is antiseptic. It's antiseptic, so you are, it's your wounds will be okay. We're not going to get any infections.
So this surgery is going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. And I'm the one that created antiseptics. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm born in Newham as well, obviously. Just in case you didn't know that. Okay. Question number 2. Okay. Question number 3. Okay.
Hello and welcome to your latest episode of Graham Norton. Today we have Domestic God.
Right, well, how you doing? You okay?
My first question is, your daughter. I think she's taken over from you, hasn't she?
It's always bloody talking about her. Since she's won Love Island, is Love Island this, Love Island that, and she's a star. But look, I'm the star of the show. Yeah. I'm from Custom House. Ask me about myself.
I mean, I think she is the woman of the moment.
So who is this guy here? That's question number 3. Question number 4. I do have an outfit.
Put on the outfit.
Oh, God.
Yeah, put on the outfit.
Okay.
Why not?
So this lady here lived in Newham, I think possibly in West Ham, for a short period of her time. So now being transported to the 19th century.
You're going to love this outfit. This might have been stolen from our mum's wardrobe.
It's not what I do at weekends. Okay, it's the top.
It might also be her pyjamas.
Okay. Go on.
I think you'll want to screenshot this look.
Okay, go on, Tom.
Okay.
So remember, I'm the angel of prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. You're that woman. You're the angel of of our prisons. Please help me.
Oh.
They treat us so badly here.
They treat you badly in these prisons.
They don't give us food. There are rats everywhere.
I'm so sorry. These prison conditions are not acceptable. I'm going to go and reform these prisons so people like you can be educated in prisons, okay? And you know, one day, I'm going to be on a £5 note because I do so much good work for people like you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, who is this lady? Who is this lady? Okay, and the final one is identify this footballer. It's okay. It's actually a game tonight.
So crucially, I'm irrelevant in this.
Yeah.
Identifying who Bobby is.
Because we're both captains. Okay. Good luck tonight. Good luck tonight.
You know what I mean? Harry Kane. What's your name?
You know my name. I'm Mr. West Ham. I'm captain of this club. I'm from Canning Town, and I'm the captain. Okay.
Mr. West Ham.
I'm Mr. West Ham.
That's a claim.
Okay. So, who was this captain? Okay, so that was our wonderful acting, and again, if you'd like to nominate Tommy and myself for BAFTAs, UK TV Awards,
taking nominations,
we're happy to be nominated.
Rosie says she is speechless with our acting skills.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Yeah,
I won't ask her if it's in a positive or a negative way. I'll just let my mind interpret as it wishes.
And Tanya says she inspired by the Monkman Seagull bit on the Bazalgette to explore the Greenway by bike. So it's great that Teddy's inspiring you. Are all the Seagull brothers this crazy and fun?
Ooh. I think we inherited the crazy bits.
Probably, yeah. I mean, to be honest, they're crazy in their own way. Okay, so let's go through the answers. So it's one each. So question 1 was, Tommy, what were we reenacting?
So we were enacting Christina Hurugu's win at the 2008 Beijing Olympics.
So Uhurugu's spelling doesn't be perfect, but Uhurugu, but she's a Stratford girl.
Yeah.
Went to Sarah Brunel's school.
Complete inspiration, by the way.
Yeah.
Not just because of her sporting achievements, but also the manner in which she has conducted herself, how she's been a role model to young kids. She's an avid reader, and I remember being at school and always being told about how much she read and how she was able to not only excel in a sporting environment but also academically. She was brilliant.
That's it's true inspiration for people in Newham and further afield.
Yeah.
Question 2, the antiseptic was the clue. He was actually born in a house that doesn't exist, just near Forest Gate in St Bonaventures. His name is Joseph Lister. So he created the antiseptic, and while he's not, but didn't live in Newham, he was born in Newham. So we're going to take credit for him, and hence Lister School.
Yeah. There's a statue of him in London.
Yeah.
Can you guess where?
Leicester Square.
No. Can you guess where? I said.
Can you guess where?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like Joseph Lister Square, Leicester Square.
No, good guess, but it's in Portland Place in Marylebone, which is I think where he lived for part of his life. Okay. And I was gonna say, I wish we had his statue in Newham.
Yeah, we should.
We could bring it back.
We should claim him back. Oh, there is Lister Community School, so we have some sort of. Lisa Lewis is saying she came for the Oscar-worthy charades, not disappointed. Dean Armand from Revive FM says, wonderful on the radio, acting skills not as great. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Dean.
And Sarah Khan says Listerine. I think Listerine borrowed his name, but it's not. There's no Lord Lister's fine. We'll give you Lord Lister. As long as you got the word Lister somewhere. Okay. Question number 3. Tom, who was it?
Question number 3 was the man himself, Mr. Danny Dyer. And the lady that we were referring to is, of course, his daughter, who also goes by his same first name, Danny Dyer, who won Love Island.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny enough, when they did a review of Monkman and Seagull series in The Guardian, they said they should get the daughter, Danny Dyer, to join Monkman and Seagull in future.
That would be...
Oh my god, I don't know, Eric might not be happy, because why? But I'd love it if she joined us. Because she would ask hilarious questions. She'd like, Eric and Bobby... why are we going to this museum? Come on, I'm a bit bored here. And then we'd sort of convince her to sign to school.
Yeah. I think she's very charismatic.
She is. Yeah. She's brilliant. So Danny Dyer, if you're watching, I'm up for a collaboration. The Guardian told us to do it, and we got to listen to The Guardian.
Of course you do. Heard it here first.
Okay. Question 4 was Elizabeth Fry, the prison reformer. So Elizabeth Fry. And our brother Davey, who's an amazing artist, banker, polymath, he went to Elizabeth Fry School, special school for disabled children before he went to Eastleigh and then went to Newvic and Cambridge. But Elizabeth Fry. And the last one, Tom?
The last one was Mr. West Ham himself, Mark Noble, who is, of course, the West Ham captain.
There we go. Let us know your marks, and we'll continue with our story. So there you can see a picture with Tom. You can see a picture of Tom with Christina Hurugu.
Yeah. So that was actually in 2008. And I talked to you earlier about how Christina Hurugu is a wonderful role model for kids, and that was her at the Shining Through Awards presenting the ceremony.
So so all of us went to St Bonaventure till 16. About a day we went to Eastleigh because again Eastleigh was the only school I think at the time in the mid-90s that had wheelchair access, so you could go to different departments. The day we went from Eastleigh to Newvic to Cambridge. But the rest of us, we went to St Bon's, and then when I was 16 or by 15, by just complete serendipity in the Times newspaper, I saw an ad that said, "Are you a bright boy from a state school? Do you want a life-changing experience? Would you like to come to Eton?" And I went, applied to a scholarship for Eton, got it, and then the rest is history. So I went to Eton for a scholarship, and my two younger brothers, Tom and John, also went. So Tom, tell us about your experience of Eton.
Yeah, I think so. Bob was, of course, the first one to go to Eton in our family, and I think early on that then set my sights on also achieving the same thing. And as I was preparing for this quiz, I found this poster that's been on my wall since I was maybe 11 or 12. So, this is the first time that it's actually physically been taken off the wall in many, many years. And it says, "Clear focus, blind faith, burning enthusiasm." And then underneath it, Tommy's theme for Eton scholarship.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
So this poster has been up on the wall, and it was sort of the family mantra about how we also wanted to follow in your path and get a scholarship to Eton.
Oh, wow.
And I always tell people, I think the thing that Eton taught me is, and it sounds cliche, but that anyone can achieve anything, because often when you hear stories, big success stories about famous people, you think, oh God, I could never achieve that. It just, that person must have had, just an innate talent.
Yeah.
But then you go to a school like Eton and you meet lots of these people who tend to be the sons of famous celebrities or CEOs, and you realize that actually they're just normal people like us, and all they've done is they've worked hard and they've believed that they're entitled to be at the top of whatever profession it is. So whenever I go anywhere now, I always tell people, being successful is half the battle is believing that you should be at the top, and it's just about staking your claim.
Absolutely. And again, I become a teacher in Newham because I believe that my students have just the same capability, but they just need people that believe in them, people that give them the right skills and confidence, so they can aim for the top. Whatever they want to do in life, whether they want to run a business, they want to open their own amazing hair salons, they want to be a librarian, they want to be a teacher, they want to be a doctor. You're just giving people the confidence to say whatever you want to do in life, you can do. And I think Newham is getting better. I think Newham, growing up in the mid-90s, I'll be honest, there was a poverty of aspiration. People didn't really think they could do what they wanted, but now we can see in Newham, people really have confidence with them. And hopefully,
I really think it's a virtuous cycle, isn't it? Once we have a few people who are touted as role models, then it really does work wonders.
Okay, let's check our scores. Let me have a look at. So we got. I should be out of 20 so far. So we got 13 for Ken. Let's have a look. 13 for Ken. 17 for John, very good score. 11 for Anita, hanging in there. We got 15 for Smooth Plays, I think. 15, very good score.
9.5 for Bill, despite having left Newham 50 years ago.
Well done, Bill.
I think that's a stupendous effort.
Yeah. Rosie Murdoch says, "I hope my kids get a teacher like you." Yes, I hope they do. I hope they do. And I'll tell you more about some of the activities that Tom and I do. So actually, you can still benefit from Tom and I's enthusiasm for learning, even if you're not in our classes, because we do stuff online. We'll share them more later on. So now it's time for people who know. Rosie says she loved the word poverty of aspiration. I've never used that phrase before. Is that It's a good phrase, isn't it?
I like that.
Because it's poverty of aspiration. I think that genuinely in the early mid 90s in Newham as a primary school student, and even as I went to St Bonaventure's was a good school, but generally the borough there was a poverty of aspiration, but now it's being transformed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for a music round. But music round, people who come up to my quizzes normally, they know how we do this. It's going to be a top of the pops, Newham style. Bissy's on 12 and Olivia's on 13. It was a tough round. Top of the pops. And they want like my bit of a Microsoft Paint editing skills there. Look at the skills. You would think that the BBC made that top of the pop sign. Look at that amazing skills. Okay. There we go. I just had to block someone on YouTube because they were being inappropriate. Like a school teacher.
Yeah.
I would have kicked them out of the class. Actually, no. I'd first have a word with them and say that's not acceptable. And then eventually, whereas on YouTube, I haven't really got much of a recourse, so they had to leave. I'm sorry, whoever you are. Sophie's on 12 as well. So, for the music round, let's get into our DJ sets. And Tom's going to be a bit more sedate.
Yep.
I'm going to be a bit more... What time do you want a jacket?
Gonna put on my...
Jacket.
Yeah. Okay, let's go get changed.
So, we're getting into our DJ outfits. Because it's time for... Get your headphones. So this is the music round. It's worth 2 marks each. Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Time for the DJs. DJs in the house. 2 DJs. Double trouble here. Double trouble. Okay, so all the acts here... There's a connection to Newham. It could be that they're from Newham. It could be that they collabed with someone from Newham. It's got a mixture of early music, modern music, contemporary rock music. So a bit for everyone. There's 2 marks each one. One is for the artist. We'll make it clear what we want. And then 1 mark for the year that particular song came out. And we're going to be generous and give you 2 years either way. So John Haggerty says he's rubbish at music. Bo says going to get daughter's help. You might, get them.
I think so. I think if you combine the generations with this round, you will do very, very well indeed.
Okay. Let's have a look. On Twitter, how are we doing? How are we doing? Okay. Tanya's on 13. Thank you, Tanya. Okay, so here we go. Question number 1. Tom, you're going to introduce this question.
Okay, so for question number 1, you have to identify the artist and the year that this song was released. So Young Bane is the name of the artist who sampled this song from another artist. You have to tell me who that artist is. So we've spelt it YXNG there. You may think it's a spelling error, but it isn't. It
looks like one. It should be a spelling mistake.
When Bobby first, Bobby didn't actually know. I don't think he knew. Bobby didn't know the artist, and he said it was Yinksy Bane.
Come on, everyone! If you're like me, an adult, a real adult, that looks like Yinksy Bane. What kind of name is that? Sorry.
And to me, it was completely hilarious because, of course, when you know the backstory and you've known the artist for quite a while, you sort of lose sense of how different the spelling is. But it is a young artist. And he has sampled another famous musician who you will all know. So please tell me who this pop star is and which year, plus or minus 2 years either side.
The original came out.
The original came out, yeah.
There we go.
She said me talking too much. I should come her way. She said me wanting too much. Me talking too much. I should come her way. She said me wanting too much. Me wanting too.
Okay, so you were looking for the original. So that was a remix version, and there was the original song, and you would have heard of it. You just have to tap into the memory there.
Okay, so the question 2, we're going to be travelling back in time a bit. So we're leaving... So the first one was a bit modern. So this one I want you to tell me who is singing and which year did this originally come out.
We'll meet again. Don't know where. We'll meet again. Don't know where.
So there you go. That's question number 2. So I hope you can get the name of the singer. and which year did it come out? Bit tricky, but plus or minus 2 years should give you a bit of leeway. That's question number 2.
Okay. Question number 3. Identify the name of the band and which year this song came out on. The clue is that this band, and indeed its name, has a connection to West Ham United Football Club.
That's question number 3. So the band and the year. Okay, question number 4. Question number 4. So this is, the voice you're about to hear is a lady called Jade Ewan, who I've met at a charity event. And she is a wonderfully talented singer, was part of the Sugar Babes, and from Plaistow. So a Newham resident, a Newham born and bred person. And she was selected for Eurovision in a particular year. So you can hear a song. I want you to tell me the song that Jade Ewan sings. Who composed the song? A very famous, how do you describe this person?
Composer.
Very famous British composer. And what year it was on Eurovision. So you get plus or minus 2 years. Here we go, question 4. So it's Jade Ewan, we know that, but who composed it? And what year was this on Eurovision?
My time, it's my time, and I'll stand proud. There's nothing of it. My time, it's my time, and I'll stand proud. There's nothing of it.
So, who composed that song? Very famous musical composer. And what year was it on Eurovision? Okay, the final question before extra time. One more round.
Okay, so question number 5. Which band collaborated with Tinchy Strider on this song and what year? So Tinchy Strider is from Newham. He actually went to our school,
Yeah.
St. Bonaventure's, and he collaborated with a very famous band. What is the name of the band and what year?
And we'll give one clue. One of the members of this band, she was a judge on the X Factor for a couple of years. It's not Cheryl Cole, by the way.
Nah.
So again, if you're finding these questions tricky, at least the year, you can get a sense on the year. The next bit of the song would have said the name of the band. It was the Tinchy Strider. Interesting, that song was Tinchy Strider's first ever number 1. And the song was called?
Number 1.
There you go. Tinchy Strider's a genius, a man of his time.
Yeah.
He was at our school. I remember in the playground.
Yeah, and he's called Tinchy Strider because when he was at St. Bonaventure's, people often called him Tinchy because he was very small. Yeah.
Okay, so we got Rampopo on 11 out of 20, but thank you for joining the quiz. I appreciate that. She's a Stratford-based cultural and heritage producer. Thank you for joining. Okay, so let's go through the answers for this round. So first, we'll play it again. Someone who says maybe the decade. No, we're not giving you the decade. You don't make the rules up here, okay? Okay, miss? I'm making up the rules. Okay, so question 1 was, we'll play it and then we'll tell you the answer.
She said me talking too much, me talking too much. I should come her way. She said me wanting too much, me talking too much. I should come her way.
So Tom?
It is Ed Sheeran, the man himself, and the song is called Shape of You.
Although we didn't want that information.
No, we didn't. So we just wanted Ed Sheeran and 2017.
But again, 2 years either side, so 2015 to 2019.
Yeah.
Come on, you've heard of Shape of You, Ed Sheeran. If you've got kids there, they've definitely heard of that. Question 2, I'm hoping all of us have heard this very recently. So question 2 was?
We'll meet again. Don't know where.
So it's Dame Verlin, our own East Ham's Dame Verlin, who sadly passed away earlier this week. But again, she inspired our war effort in World War II. So Dame Verlin's We'll Meet Again, 1939. 1939.
What a remarkable life she's lived.
Okay, question 3, Tom.
Sarah asks, century? I think we'll
Century.
accept that then.
Millennium.
The
Millennium.
millennium,
Sarah,
yeah.
if you get the right millennium, give yourself a quarter of a point. And round it down to the nearest zero. Maths tricks there. Maths tricks. Okay, question number 3, Tom. I'll play it first.
Just their famous song. So the answer is Iron Maiden. And the year we were looking for is 1982.
And actually, like for me, again, I didn't realize how much they were connected to West Ham, but I recently dated someone who's a big fan of rock and metal music, and she said, "Oh, listen to Iron Maiden. You're a big West Ham fan." So I listened to Iron Maiden, and I realized they got, again, Irons. They got a huge West Ham connection. So thank you to the person I used to date for introducing me to Iron Maiden. But Iron Maiden, a West Ham related band. There we go. So question 4 is Jade Ewan and.
My time, it's my time, and I'll
So this is Jade Ewan. It was for Andrew Lloyd Webber, and it was 2009, and it was, I think, one of Britain's best entries in recent times. It came 5th, but it was a great song, really good song. Okay, and the last one coming up, Tom, before extra time round. Tom?
It is N-Dubs, and the year is 2009. So hopefully, if you didn't get the name of the band, you maybe could have guessed, the era of the music.
We're hoping you could have given it, give a go. We had like pop music, we had rock music, we had not classical, but we had like classic songs. We had a bit of everyone. Come on. Where else would you see a quiz with Iron Maiden, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Dame Verlin, and N-Dubs?
Yeah. And if you're Sarah, I expect that you got full marks there because you only had to get the century. I've also got a message saying, what kind of DJ wears a blazer? And the answer is a very silly one because I am absolutely
baking. I know.
Dripping in sweat
I'm
right
drenched.
now.
I'm actually drenched. I'm going to have a shower. So we've got one more round coming up. So before that, send us through your scores. For us in Newham, again, in the 90s, 2000s, early 2000s, if people came to visit us, there wouldn't be as much. Again, to be honest, I love East Ham. My town hall is absolutely beautiful, but there wasn't as much to take people around. But the Olympics changed that, I think.
Yeah, the Olympics absolutely transformed the borough. Not just physically, but I also think in terms of how we perceived our own borough, because there was 1 month. In the summer of 2012 for the Olympics and the Paralympics, where we were quite literally the centre of the world, and I think that that does wonders for how we perceive ourselves and how proud we are to be from Newham. Before I could go to many places and people wouldn't have heard of Newham, maybe apart from the connection to West Ham. They didn't know, but after that they certainly did.
So obviously there are always people with different opinions about, does it really benefit the locals? But I think on the whole, it's helped put up Newham, East London on the map, and I think it's going to continue to drive change. No one can ever take that away from us. We are an Olympic host city.
And I was actually an Olympic volunteer. So this is...
I'm very jealous.
So I volunteered...
Sneeze, bless me.
So it was the summer of my life. It was the summer I turned 18, and I volunteered at the Olympic Park. I was there every day from 6 a.m. Until 3 p.m. And then we were allowed to stick around and watch events. And it was truly, I think, one of the best. In fact, I'll go as far as saying I haven't had a 2-week period in my life where I've been as happy.
I think it's same for me.
Yeah.
Same for me. Like, again, I was a participant. I was a spectator participant. I was a hurugu, wasn't I? I was there. I was a spectator, and again, I took a month of work. For me, the best month of my life.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop.
I mean, I think it just, the whole of London came together, you know, and I remember being on the tube during the Olympics, and it was commonplace to see people just chatting to each other, you know, talking about what had happened that day at the games.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, in a city like London where there are so many people and it can seem quite impersonal, the Olympics really brought everyone together and brought out the
So actually,
best.
a bit of clarification. So Mark has said on Facebook, actually in the 90s there were the Spotted Dog, the Three Mills, Bazalgette's pumping station. Of course, Newham has history and character, but just in terms of bringing it into sort of the 21st century, of course, we always have our wonderful East End character and spirit. But just something like, again, in terms of like modernity, the Olympic Games helped to bring it that extra. So we've got the modernity with our history as well. So it's like the best combination.
I think Newham's history is so rich, but then there's moving it to the next step of making sure that people know about it and bringing it into the mainstream public consciousness.
Exactly.
And I think when you have something like the Olympics that puts the spotlight onto Newham, it then gives us that ability to say, hang on a second, look, we also have all these other wonderful things in our history.
Yes, thank you, Mark, for that comment.
Very good point.
Okay, so before the final round, the final round's only 30 seconds.
Rosie says to take off the jacket before I faint.
I know.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Rosie.
Okay, so let's look at the scores before the last round. So we've got out of 30, Bissy on 17, Olivia on 18, Lisa on 21. Lisa's even from Newham. Well done, Lisa. What else do we have? Other scores. Any scores? I can't see. 20 for John Haggerty, 6 for the Flynns. I presume that's for that particular round. 18 out of 30 for Ken. Rosie's still on 11. What happened, Rosie? Yeah. I thought we were friends. So one final round to go. So this round is called that's meant to be a whistle. Extra time. So you only have 30 seconds. And this round definitely will be biased towards people that have been in Newham. If you've never been to Newham, or if you've never been to London, you might find this tricky. You have 30 seconds, and we're going to play a countdown timer. And again, 30 seconds to write down as many answers as you can. So this is not music. So you're gonna get the timer soon. So are you ready? Get your pens ready, and you're gonna have to be quick. As soon as I say stop, you drop your pens. Okay. Sophie B, you're on 20. I think 20 is the leading score. Okay, here we go. So explain it. You got name as many rail stations in Newham as you can. DLR, TfL, Underground. Off you go. Well done, Tanya on 18. Let's see how you do this last round. Pens down now. Rosie, no. Lisa, no. I can see you like, but I knew it. No. You drop your pens, Lisa, Sarah, Rosie. We can see you. Just because you're hiding behind your Facebook screen, we can see you. Okay. So this one, there are lots of different answers. So we'll read them out. You get a mark for each one. The only thing is there are some stations that have 2. For example, Stratford. You can't put Stratford DLR, Stratford Station, Stratford, that's 1. Unless they have a distinctive name.
Although they can put Stratford High Street.
That's a different station.
It's
a different station.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to read out the main ones and Tom will read out the DLR ones. So give yourself a mark for any of these. Canning Town. East Ham. Plaistow. Stratford. Upton Park. West Ham. And now the railway ones, TfL I think they are. Forest Gate, Manor Park, Maryland, Stratford International, or Stratford, I said that before, Wanstead Park, and Woodgrange. And now Tom's going to go through the DLRs.
Okay, so there were plenty of marks up for grabs with the DLR stations. Let me rattle through them. So Galleons Reach, King George V, London City Airport, Pontoon Dock, Prince Regent, Pudding Mill Lane, Abbey Road, Beckton, Beckton Park, Canning Town, Custom House, Cyprus, Royal Albert, Royal Victoria, Star Lane, and last but not least, West Silvertown.
And here are all of them, just in case you wanted to see. They're very tiny. So you could have done appallingly badly in the whole quiz, and you could have turned it around.
Yeah.
If you're like a train buff, you could have although to write that many in 30 seconds. So I put the answers up. So again, while we're waiting...
this round would frustrate me so much because we know all of these stations, but can you recall it in the
30,
moment?
in 30 seconds.
That's a tough round.
So Tom and I, we've still got... And again, if you think, time to put my tea on. No. Tom and I are going to tell you some of the other activities that we're running generally so you can keep up to date with our enthusiasm. And also, we've got a sing-along. All of my quizzes always have a sing-along. So let us know what your scores are.
I think Lisa deserves an extra point because she says she could have cheated as her son has a full-size tube map on his wall, but she didn't. I think that's very, very honourable of you.
Thank you,
Lisa.
Thank you, Hayden, for not allowing your mum to cheat. So there you go. They can see the answers. Newham is a big old place. Lots of. This one here. If you get 5 or 6, you've done quite well. So we'll let us know your scores. Again, this is all part of Newham Heritage Month. Again, thank you to the Heritage Lottery Fund and Royal Ducks for supporting this. And again, it's a month all throughout June where we're celebrating what makes Newham a wonderful place. So thank you for taking part in the Newham quiz. And thank you also to Rosie Murdoch and Anna for helping get this event ready for me. It's all about heritage, and we've shared our story, and hopefully you keep on sharing your stories throughout this. And I think Stratford High Street DLR, Bissy saying, yep, that'll get a mark as well. So again, share your scores, and we've still got a few minutes left before the quiz is over completely. If you can take a picture of yourself enjoying the quiz, maybe a selfie with me and Tommy in the background. Share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, because we'd love to get the word out. Again, hashtag Newham Heritage Month, at Bobby_Seagull, at Newham Heritage, and this guy as well, at Tommy Seagull.
Yeah.
So let us know your scores. Before that, we'll come back to the scores in a second, get your scores through. So if you're interested, so Tommy and I, I run classes on YouTube. I know Lisa here comes along to them. Bissy comes to my quizzes. So every Monday, usually maths. I've had interviews the last couple of Mondays. But Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10:45 usually, I do geography and history class. In fact, this morning I went to South Africa. On Thursday, we're doing a class on Winston Churchill, which is very topical, trying to understand his character and what he did. Wednesday nights, I have a football quiz. And then on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock, I do a family quiz. So if you enjoy my quizzes, come along on Saturdays. You can follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You'll see all my activities there. But again, I'd love for you to take part with your kids, perhaps, in my history, geography classes, my football quizzes, my family quizzes, or maths as well. And Tommy also is getting involved in social media too.
So last week, I started my own YouTube channel where I'll be discussing big and important issues that matter to me. Very often they're political, but also they're things like moral dilemmas. So my latest video is how we should interact with someone who posts a racist thing on Facebook. Do we delete them or do we reply to them? And all the moral implications of both of those options. If you fancy, if that's your cup of tea, then head over to the channel and you'll get lots of that.
Okay, let's have a look at the final scores.
So we've got Miss Burke, who is my former school teacher, who just joined for this final round, and she's got 13 stations.
Well done.
So I think she may be in the lead on that round. Can anyone top that?
Josh Kelly got 36 overall. I think that's probably going to be a winner. We got 30.5. Rosie loved that round. 18.5 for Bill. Thank you. We got who else we have? Anita, you got 8 in this round. What's your final score? Zoe Flynn on 26. That looks like that might be a bronze medal. Let's see. 30.5 for Bo. Well done. 29 for is it the Pentons? Thank you, Ken. I think that's got you a
We've got 28 for
Lisa,
Lisa. Lewis.
Lisa, you just missed out on a bronze because it looks like Bissy with 26, Olivia 24. Oh, Sophie with 32. So looks like our scores are in bronze medal position. We have Mr. Penton. Is it Mr. or Miss Penton with 29? So Lisa, unfortunately, got 28. Just missed out. You should have used your son's chart. Your son's TFL. And then in silver medal position was Bo with 30.5. Oh God, I've got this wrong. So I think in 30, who got 32? Whoever got 32, silver. And then gold is Josh with 36. So thank you. Anita got 26. Lots of great scores. Thank you for taking part. So this is the Newham Heritage Month hashtag family quiz, the Newham quiz. So thank you so much for joining, Mark. We had a great time, and again, it's wonderful that we get to interact with you because, like, Mark was again reminding me. Sometimes us like millennials, we can think, oh, it's just great in our time. You know, back in your day, it was different. But actually, Newham does have a wonderful heritage. Of course, it does. But just we think the Olympics has given us a chance to try and step into the future while embracing our wonderful past. So thank you for reminding us.
And I think events like this are, as I said at the beginning, so important because heritage is not necessarily something that you can always see or physically touch, but it's something that you feel. And the only way that we can maintain that is by getting together as a community and sharing our stories, sharing our memories, and of course, quizzing each other on our knowledge.
Exactly. So thank you so much again. I'm at Bobby_Seagull on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Tommy's at
Tommy Seagull, my YouTube channel, Tommy Seagull.
Yeah, follow us. And you'll see the enthusiasm that we bring to our learning, debating, etc. And finally, it's time for Sing with Seagull. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining. Rosie, Mark, Selena, Lisa, Dean, Bissy, Olivia, Josh, Laura, Zoe, Anita, so many names, Selena, I'm repeating names, Sarah, John. Thank you so much for joining. And our sing along is going to be very, very appropriate. It's going to be one of the songs that came up in the music round. So you're panicking now. You're thinking it's going to be one of those modern ones, aren't you? So it's not Katy Perry. It's not Iron Maiden. Mm-hmm. It's not Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Nope.
It's not N-Dubs.
Nope.
It's not Yinksy Bane.
Young Bane.
It's not Ed Sheeran. It is
Dame Vera Lynn.
Dame Vera Lynn. So she passed away this week, but thank you, Dame Vera Lynn, for everything you've done for not just Newham, but Britain as a whole. So thank you. So we're going to end off with We'll Meet Again. So again, we're in lockdown, but eventually we'll open up. So hopefully I'll get to meet some of you in person at some stage very soon. So thank you. I'm Bobby Seagull.
I'm Tommy.
And we've been your hosts for the Newham Heritage Month, Newham Quiz. So get involved, Newham Heritage Month. Go to their website, check out all the activities they're doing. But thank you so much for joining us on the quiz. So let's have a look at the sing-along. And someone's trying to move my mouse. Hold on 1 second. Here we go.
We'll meet again. Don't know where. Don't know when.
This guy I do all the time is annoying.
But I know we'll meet again. Some sunny day.
Some sunny day.
Keep smiling through, just like you always do. Till the blue skies drive the dark clouds.
We're not singing because we've got a terrible singer. Let me just sing. Thank you, Newham, for joining in on YouTube just now.
So will you please say hello?
Thank you so much. Have a great time, and thank you so much for joining Newham Heritage Month, Newham Quiz with me, Bobby Seagull, and
myself, Tommy.
Okay, see you very soon. We'd love for you to take pictures of this event. If you've got any, I'm going to get 30 seconds more. Take pictures, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, show people that you're getting involved with this month. So thank you so much. So we'll do one more chorus and we'll leave. Last chorus, we'll meet again.
Oh, we didn't tell them about our surname.
Oh God,
I have to.
Okay.
So we are named after our dad's favourite book. There's a book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and one day he thought he would do the very normal thing of naming his kids after a very inspirational book. So he's still got the family surname, Jose, the kids are Seagulls. And that is our heritage.
There you go. Thank you very much. See you very soon. Bye bye. We'll meet again.